Hi everyone, you're watching Forex, and in this video I'm going to make technical analysis for the coming week for main pairs, main levels and possible entry points. So we are starting with euro dollar as usual. Let's see what happened previous week. So this is 1 hour chart, okay, so this is the week, and previously we stopped around this area, and we were waiting for some consolidation this week, right, and or creation of any patterns, and this is exactly what happened. Euro dollar created a flag pattern, and here's your possible trade this week. So this is about 60 pips and possibly even 90 pips drop, so you could get at least 10, 20, depends, 40 pips on that movement. So here is the good entry point. So then afterwards you see what it looked like. So I have this level which I draw just looking at it as possible head and shoulders creation, and on Friday it's kind of pretty much stopped around the neck area of possible pattern. Okay, so you see it's here, and for example, for me, would have been no trades after that one trade. Okay, and here now for this coming week, of course, we'll be looking at as a pattern first, possible head and shoulders. So possible the pair go up, so it's kind of a bit of a correction of the drop. Okay, and while possibly going to this level, just looking a little bit more ahead. Or at the same time, if it is not a pattern, so of course you can just have a bit of the pullback and turn around and continue the way down. It might create another bottom, so it could be double bottom. So how to walk around this, of course, the main question. So we do have the levels, okay, so I do have this new little level as a shoulder area from the previous, from this week, okay, and so I would like to see this movement, okay, with the open the market to go around this level. So, well, maybe underneath this level, like, okay, it's usually slightly higher or right in the level. So somewhere in this area, a little bit of consolidation. So hopefully it's not going to be jump or sharp movement with the open of the market. So a bit of the consolidation here, and of course that would be the first possible entry point for me, either buy order, right, pending order buy, and or pending order sell, sell stop, buy stop, to see if it will continue the way up or it might turn around and go back down. So of course then I would look if it will go down, then this will be the next level once again, the shoulder area, and any consolidation around here, and then once again possibly it will go up again or it will go down, continue the way down of the right now we are kind of in downtrend. Okay, so if we look on the 4-hour charts, you will see we dropped, and you can see this is like how clearly it shows right now kind of head and shoulders, but you never know, right? So if it will go down here, right, for example, then, and we'll have not do any consolidation and go to this area, so quite possibly maybe to look at it a little bit, you know, something like this. Okay, maybe it would create like a little bit of the flag, so then I would look at it like this. If it will, for example, go, that's what I'm saying, if it will not consolidate anywhere around and it just drops straight down here, right, and we'll get to this area a little bit, then I might think it from here. That's what I'm saying. I have this level for, right, so they might turn around and go back up again. Okay, so that's why I have this level, because it can happen something like that, a little bit lower. So you need to be careful if you will decide to place any orders from that level, just to see how close it's going to be this one. So, and it could possibly turn around, but I'm not going to have this. It's just for you, you can see it. Okay, just have a little bit of visual. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. If it will go down here, and as placing orders depends, right, so it can drop a little bit down again. So if you don't want to get like maybe in a unwanted trade, okay, so, and maybe just wait a little bit more and like place the order slightly below. Okay, so slightly below, using more that area of that level. Okay, so it's only if it will from here, okay, we would use that level, maybe just a little bit lower, using that bottom. Okay, if with the open in the market, that movement will go straight down. Okay, so if it will go straight down and break that and start to consolidate around here between those two levels, okay, so that's when we will use this one. Right now I'm going to remove it. I hope you understood the idea what I'm trying to explain. So otherwise, okay, just wait for that moment, and the first thing, expectation, the first we will look at it as head and shoulders. Okay, so going back here, bit of consolidation and possible continue the way up. If it will drop down, then we will use that bottom, okay, and draw the level and see that as possible flag, okay, bearish flag. So that's my thought for euro dollar at this moment. Okay, so now we're going to pound dollar, and this is the also big chart, so you can see a bit of the same main picture I'm trying to show you, which is also looking like shoulder, okay, and a possible head. So okay, at this moment I'm looking at it that way on a little bit bigger picture, so you can see. And we go out. Let's go on a daily chart. Just again, main picture. We go out a little bit behind the underneath the level of the downtrend channel, right? So right here. So now I would expect a possible return into this area, and we need a correction. Okay, so possible return to this area and possible give a correction, all right, and sit still in that channel, and then afterwards maybe it will turn around. Okay, so that would be the first thing to think about. Well, if it will not happen, then maybe it will just go in here, okay, a little bit, and then turn around and continue the way down. So maybe it will create, like, again, like maybe it will be a little bit flag, or maybe another bottom. So but something around this area I would expect possibly happening. And of course now, okay, let's look at the one weekly chart. As you can see here, still in here we only have a little wing. That's what I'm saying. So it might still return into this area before it will continue inside that channel. So that's the main picture, just for you to see. And on a smaller chart, the possible entry points, of course, at that moment, what I would look at, of course, I would be looking at that is coming back inside and shoulder area. Okay, so we do have where it is right now. It's under shoulder area a little bit. Just going to correct it a little bit, so slightly like here. You see, this is our shoulder, so of course that possibly can go up, right, and a little bit high, and that the neck area I would consider around this area, so would be that level. Okay, so that exactly level of the downtrend channel. So in here you just need to see again, once again, so where it stopped and how far. We have only 20 something pips go back to this level, and we do have about 70 pips to go to possible neck area. So let's say if they open in the market, if it will start to have a bit of consolidation here, then possibly to see the place in the orders buy. Just careful around this area, it might be stopped a little bit, so maybe go for 10 pips or something, and possible continue to the neck area, right? If not, then possible drop, and who knows, continue even further. But first to see if it might get to this area, okay, and break it, continue, or maybe turning back around a little bit. But at this moment, so I'm just going to remove this. I don't really like it as much, but I mean, is it possible? So for me, for the best, I would rather to see that come back to this area. Okay, so if it will go back to this area and then start to consolidate, possibly maybe around this level more, or maybe a little bit narrowing down. So you see, it was a little bit of 1, 2, 3 roughly days, right, moving in here. So possibly going around here, more narrowing, and then using something like that area for either breaking the neck and going back up the channel, or breaking this area and continue the way down. So I would rather to see it that way. But for the small trades, it's possible. For example, like what the trades you would have this week with pound. So I can just remove the level, but here you can see what your possible trades would have been. So first, remember when I was telling you, wait for consolidation around this level, and here is the channel started to create, right? Remember, like Monday started to have a bit of consolidation, and that's the level I told you also, right, using the level. And so here your first little trade breaking like buy order right here, so it broke and went up about 40 something pips, so about 10 pips you could get, right? So profit. And of course, possible if you place the sell order from this level, because it's from the consolidation, and you had a small drop here, see 40 pips, and even further 70 pips. So between 10 to 40, 50 pips you could have made on this movement, okay, that consolidation I was talking about. Okay, so you can see that's exactly what happened. So or you could use that and see maybe that looked more like a flag for you. That's why I have this. You see two tops, and possibly could have been something like that. You can see this is like a bearish flag, and then you could go into the trade a little bit higher, something from here, which is still another, again, 40 pips, or would have been 90 pips with the further away. So either way, you can see you could have looked at it as a little pennant or the flag, but everything is happening around the levels. So I'm just removing that, and I'm just giving you examples so you know what I'm talking about and what kind of system I'm using. So, and with this, I already explained what to look for, and now we are going to dollar yen. And so for me, for example, dollar yen would be no trades. What happened this week? It's sitting inside the pretty much triangle. Okay, so go back on a bigger chart, because you can see on the smaller chart you cannot see the clear. But on the daily chart, just what I was telling you is, and one of the expectation is sitting in narrowing down in between those two levels. And this week it was sitting just between the levels, didn't break them. Okay, on the daily chart it does look like a little bit of breakout, but you saw on the smaller chart it's still inside. So that's why I'm saying it's plus minus the area, because the levels on different time frames are not exactly in the same place. So I guess it's just empty for how it works. But you understand now, right? So we are sitting a little bit in that and the triangle area, and once again it's a bit wide, and the bigger picture might look like a shoulder and a big head, and possibly if it will break that area and will not be stopped by this level, go down. Okay, so this is the roughly neck area of the head and shoulders, where you can turn around, just looking a little bit ahead. Okay, and coming back here, if it will not break that area, I could expect that possibly go down to this area. Okay, so that's the one version of what can happen, looking a little bit more ahead. And here also, if it will break that triangle, possibly go up and wouldn't be stopped by this level, and I would expect it to go higher, higher than that top, because we will have then 1, 2, and 3 waves. Okay, so that's pretty much that's what's happening right now. That's I'm just trying to explain. It's narrowing down as the market is accumulating the energy before it's going to have a final move. Okay, so of course do not forget about the news. I'm always reminding you, financial, political news, everything in radar. Okay, at this moment. So well, as usual anyway. So that's the main picture. You can see we are still in here. We are preparing for something. Okay, something big happening. So, and what to do? Obviously, once again, you can use the both levels. A little bit risky, just like I'm saying, a little bit risky, but could possibly just place the orders, pending orders from one and another level. Of course, at one point, even if you get in some bad trades, it should break it and have a big movement, so which should cover the loss. Okay, but you need to be really careful with the stops, because like I'm saying, it's pretty wide area. So but if you are risky, okay, so you can do something like that. For a little bit more safer way of using these levels, as I do like a bit more, but missing sometimes really good trades, I would just wait for small consolidation again around the level. Okay, the first a bit of consolidation around the level, and if it will start to break, okay, so pending order sell, then protect yourself at this level, and then just see where it will go. Maybe, like I'm saying, it might go down a bit, break it, and come back. If it will not jump in, it might continue all the way down, but always protect. So like protect it about 10 pips or something. Okay, so that's how I would rather to play with it. So a little bit of consolidation, sell order, okay, and of course a buy order, and then wait for it to come to this area and wait for any consolidation around this level. Of course, it might be a little bit low, because you can see here it didn't reach it. Okay, a few times we do have a little bit away from that level. So of course, as I'm saying, it can go, of course, on the way to that level. Protect yourself. Okay, don't forget to protect. Taking some positions closer, leave the rest to run, or move the stops in safe areas. So that's how I would look at it. First possible entry point, just waiting for consolidation around this level, and then go to this area, okay, somewhere around here, some consolidation, and then obviously either going up, okay, or from here going back down. And once again the same, any consolidation. If it will actually eventually will break down here and will start to consolidate, and also look at that level as a possible also placing the orders for buy or sell. Okay, so well, that's how I see with dollar yen. Of course, in here also can have a little bit of look like a little bit of well, kind of like a flag or something. You see, it's if you would just look at it the levels. I don't draw it because obviously you can see it anyway. So if it goes something like that, of course, obviously if it will break it and go down, you still have that level. So of course then that afterwards it can go and be stopped by some this area, but we would use it and look at it after it will break it and will start to stop somewhere. But with the protection, you would not need it just yet, you see. And then you can use the tops and see if it's possible, as a possibility, if it's going down and looking like going down, changing the trend, let's say. Yeah, we did have a bit up and then it's maybe going down like this. So if you do parallel to that one, the same going like this, but first we need to come out from that level. So that's how I see the dollar yen. Okay, and now we're going to Australian dollar. And once again, you can see that your channel, I gave it to you again last week. What I told you, wait for some consolidation. It doesn't have to be exactly straight. Okay, it did actually happen right in the middle of the level, just like that. See, it's not that difficult to see all these things happening. And here's your trade, not very big, like little one going down. So, well, about 50 pips. So 10, 20, even 40 pips you could get on that movement. Then you can see the market turned around, and what it did, again, head and shoulders. Do you see it? I'm sure you do, because you see it came back to this area again. So, well, obviously didn't touch the level, right? You see the level slightly above, like I'm saying, plus minus. Always remember, it's not always, right, touches the target area. Okay, so slightly, that's why you need to protect yourself. So, but then I come back and gave you another little channel here. Okay, so the shoulder area, of course, you could draw. Always when the creation is start, you do it like this. Okay, so when you do have something looking like head and shoulders, so that's how you do it. I think I need to make a video about more patterns like head and shoulders and everything else, but don't have time right now. But I will do it one day. Explain it how I use it. That's exactly how I use it. Okay, so this is your another trade, which is on Friday. Probably I wouldn't take it because of Friday, and obviously see it's very small, 30 pips movement. So I probably, if I would have it, I would just close it at with 10 pips profit, and that's it. But here's your small but all profitable, no losing trade. You see all the pairs once again using just the same system, no losing trade at all the winning trades. So now you can see it stopped a little bit around the area here. Okay, and so once again, something around here. I don't need this anymore, so you see I'm removing it. And then once again, what you do is just you look at it, where it stopped. Is it head and shoulders? Well, possibly head and shoulders. Maybe it will go like this. Maybe it will be a more triangle. Maybe it will be double bottom, right? So it could be on a bigger picture, but we're using a smaller time frame, and see here how far it is again. So next level is about 40 pips away, and coming back to this level is also about 50 pips. So it's not too far from each other. So small, very narrow channel, and then possible go for trades. Okay, but only 10 or 20 pips or something, reach one or another level. So you can go for it. Maybe I wouldn't probably go. I would just rather see that go to this level and consolidate around that level. Once again, a little bit behind it, underneath it, maybe slightly higher, or right in the middle. Okay, so but that area, right? And from here, if it will not go up, then of course then go back to this area, and again consolidation around this area. Okay, so that's how I would rather to see it and do it. And if it will go down, of course, maybe it will give it another bottom, or slightly around this area. Okay, any consolidation around this area. And of course, if it will go up there, then you can see this is a very big distance from the previous levels. You can see those levels. So you see how much it is, 130 pips. So somewhere around in the middle here. So then a possibility to look for another consolidation and placing the orders right here. So this is Australian dollar. Okay, and now we are going to dollar Canadian. So let's see a little bit smaller chart. Okay, so well, let's go 1 hour chart, because I do like a bit more 1 hour chart. And we had the area. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Didn't need to do anything this week except just to use the area you already could have. So here's the one trade you could have about, you see, 30 pips, or maybe even 60, so at least 10, 20, 40 pips on that movement. And another trade, so you see the market went out of the area, then it came back, and consolidated a little bit more here. And well, if you didn't go from this area, but just using that area once again, so you had 40 even 60 pips, so 10, 20, 40 pips plus on this trade. So that was pretty perfect. Okay, so once again, so what's now to do? I'm not going to go on the big chart because everything is here. We have the level here and another big level here, but right now we're in this area. And for the smaller trades, once again, if it will have a bit of consolidation, see, it stopped a little bit around the same previous bottom. So a little bit of consolidation around this area. It can come back to here. You see it's slightly underneath. So don't forget, it might be only 40 pips movement or coming back in the same area. Once again, it could be wherever here, it could be 80 pips or anything. So the first possible trades, right, entries, if it's consolidate, not very big channel, right, something narrow, then possible buy orders. Okay, and of course if it will down, then possible sell orders from the area. And of course it could go, well, wherever. I mean, it's not going to make it such a big move, but the possible movement down. So well, let's just have a quick big look once again in here. I'm not going to draw it, but you obviously can see that, of course, that could possibly be a bit of the channel. You see, that's the 1 point, so it might be like this, and using this kind of bottoms, right, going down here. So just if you draw it, you will see it's looking like a bit of the going down in the channel. But I don't want to draw it because you can see on the smaller, for the first, this is where we are. So if it will go down down there, then see, well, anywhere, if it will stop, well, here's the next bottom. Okay, so if it will move and have a little bit of movements, then some bit of consolidation, I would look for the next consolidation, so somewhere around this area. Okay, was like maybe around this bottom, something like that. And of course, either continue the way down, or possibly it could be again turning back. And then of course we could draw that level here to see if from, for example, here it will go back and try to touch. I don't want to draw it. Once again, I'm just I'll draw it just for you, because maybe you don't understand exactly. That's what I'm trying to say to you. See if it will have a bit of continue, then start to turn around, or maybe it will go back up or something, to see if it will be getting stopped by this level. So then I would consider it as a bit of the downtrend channel, okay, before it will reach this area. So that's, I'm just trying to show you visually, but I'm removing it because I don't really like to have too many lines and levels on the chart. So I like it a little bit more clear, because at this moment we still have this area and we're still looking in here. Let's see what is going to happen next. So that's dollar Canadian. Now going to euro pound. And euro pound, well, pretty much for me wouldn't be any trades, because well, it was nothing clear. This is where we stopped, where I told you, well, look for some consolidation, right? Because it's enough space to go back to this level, which it actually did at the end of the week. It's pretty much reached the level, or going back down. So for me, it didn't give anything, let's say, safe, but it was possible still to look at something. Okay, so first, of course, you could look at it as maybe it started to create something like flag again, right? So you could have drawn something like this, but it wasn't, for me, it wasn't really good enough. But for example, that could have been the first, okay, first breaking point here, probably about 30 pips movement, something. Well, let's just have a look at it. You see, about 30 pips, so yeah, 10 pips profit could be, but it's not very nice. I don't like it that way. It's not not very good, but well, possibly. And so next you could look at it. Okay, so it does look like it started to be a little bit like straight. Okay, more straight. So if you place the orders below, like I'm doing, about 20 pips, you see, you wouldn't get into the bad trade, something around here before, but you could have get into that uptrend. If you would look at it, well, depends again. If you would look at it as a channel, so you would be having the level here somewhere, and then you would go for that trade. So that could be, you see, now the 30 pips, so only 10 pips something profit. Or of course, that could have been looking like a bit of pennant. If you would draw a level like here, okay, and you would get a little bit more. Okay, so if it's a 10 pips profit, maybe a little bit 20 pips profit. So you could try to use this theory, just like I was pointing out, to look for anything around this area. So you could have catch that movement, but for me it wasn't good enough, so I wouldn't go into any trades. But here we go. You see, again, once again, either way, if you know how to use the patterns, what I'm trying to show you, and where to use them, then you can avoid bad trades and get into the good profitable trades, just like what I'm trying to show you all the time and giving you as many details as possible so you know how to use it. So what's now? Of course, once again, so we're here. Let's go on a bigger chart just to see what is it trying to do, as we do have the main levels and what to expect now. So we have like really a good uptrend channel. Of course, now it's getting closer to that level, and of course any consolidation around this level I would be waiting for a bit better, and see if it will break and then go again once again to this level and possibly to the next level. Okay, so that would be any consolidation around here in this area as the first possible entry point. Okay, so around the buy order and of course sell order, and then don't forget it's a little bit narrow, so of course it could be stopped once again like this. I'm not going to draw it, but if you draw it a little bit more, let's say more parallel, okay, so because it does, Forex likes a little bit more symmetrical, parallel, symmetrical. So you see from here it might drop here, might not go all the way down, right? So it can be stopped here again, and who knows, it might even sit between it and narrowing down for, if it's not going to be major news for Europe or pound or something, so it might narrow down like this and then decide to possibly make movement up or down. But I'm going to remove it at this moment and just concentrate on that area just to see if it will sit in here first and will make any smaller movements just around this level first. Okay, so if it will break it and then it's go up to that level, just don't forget, you see how the distance is only about 20, well, about 30 pips something, right? Okay, so that's what I'm saying, it's only about 10 pips movement if it will be any consolidation around here. So you need to protect yourself, okay, if it will not break that level and continue the way, so you just protect yourself around that level. And of course the way down is pretty much, it's good to go to the a little bit higher if we are having that, remember, right, a little bit another level which I just draw you. It's also about 40-50 pips could be, so not very big movements it could be, so you just need to be a bit careful around this area. But that would be the first, okay, before go to the next levels. So that's euro pound. Now gold. Well, gold worked out quite perfectly actually. So here we are. That's the huge channel. Remember I told you about it, that pointed out you exactly that this level and that level, which I told you, well, you can place the orders, buy order from that level and sell order from that level, right? But that, for me, what I was telling you, I worried it was worrying because it's very wide, so I would have waited a little bit more consolidation around one or another level. So that's how I saw it. But obviously for those of you who were more adventurous and riskier, this is great and perfect trade. Okay, so all the way 120 pips, so at least 100 pips or maybe 50, 60, depends where you are, but that worked out pretty well. So if you missed that trade, like I was saying to you, I probably would have missed it. Okay, I wouldn't risk it to go from that level. Here would have been my perfect trade. Here we go. It's broke the level where I told you, well, for a little bit safer, maybe it's better to wait, break or one another level and then wait for consolidation. If you remember it, if you watch my videos, you would hear I was telling you that. So here we go. Here we had a nice, well, like a little bit of flag again, right? The bearish flag, small consolidation. Once again, the perfect, just the way I like it from the previous day, all the other day, and then you can see it broke it in Asian session. It went down. And look at that, huge, it's like 300 pips movement. That is like absolutely perfect. Look at that, 300 pips. So clear, no pullbacks, no corrections, just clear 300 pips. So how can you lose on that? You can't. That was just perfect. Gold absolutely perfect this week. Okay, like huge movement. So that's pretty cool with gold. So what's to do now? I'm going to remove this. We don't need that. You can see how the system works. Obviously pointing out you all the time. If you see with the risks options, well, maybe missing some trades, but you're catching out the other trades. You see that trade was even better than breaking just that level. So Okay, so we're looking at gold now, right? So it's a little bit of once again stopped and didn't reach the a possible next stop level. Okay, so if you look at the weekly chart, as I'm saying, it's pretty hard to see when the levels are not staying in same areas with the smaller chart time frame. So from here, well, we're still here, so it's kind of pretty much have a like really big wing, which gives me I thought it's possible market will probably try to come back and finish and get to the level. Okay, so could possibly, because well, we've been here, so its price reached something like that area, so it could possibly do so. But right now it stopped here in the middle, and obviously, I mean, okay, it's a big area, and if you would look how far it is from one level, it's 200 something pips and 300 something pips. Okay, so quite possibly in here it will do something before it will well, will continue, right? Either way, it can go back or it can continue the way down. So that's our bigger picture. We're in a huge movement down. There is still no correction, absolutely nothing, which I'm saying that's the risk of trading gold. It can move without correction for a very long time. So that's why it's quite hard to trade gold and could be very risky with some particular types of trading. Okay, so with this way of trading, it's pretty much not risky if you're using the stops and using the levels and patterns, but some other systems could be very risky. So well, that's what I was trying to show you. We stopped around here, and obviously any consolidation here, well, right now maybe, right, again, maybe it does look like a little bit of the shoulder, maybe it is a bit a double bottom or double head, like double bottom head. Okay, so that of course can go back into a little shoulder area, can continue up to this level, like have a bit of correction. It can give the flag once again. So anything again can be here because we have nothing else. There's very big distance to play around, okay, between these two levels. So we broke this huge level, right? So that's why the movement is huge, like 400 pips altogether, right, from that level. It's a very big level, and the very long consolidation was here, so it was expectable. That's what I was telling you, the big movement is going to happen. Okay, so that's why from here the first entry point to look for, of course, any consolidation in here and any movements either up or down. When next area could be a little bit of the shoulder, any consolidations here, and then possible coming back to this area, any consolidation around here, and exactly the same, either coming back or turning around. Okay, so that's how to work with it, and the same, exactly the same to go back down, any consolidation, placing order, sell, right, then we're going down and possibly somewhere around this area. Okay, any consolidation and continue the way down, or it can turn around. So placing the pending orders, buy and sell once again. Okay, of course, I'm saying this, that's how the first to look at it. The next how to look at it, of course, on a smaller chart, let's see if it will start to create anything else, any other patterns. Maybe it could be like, if it will be like something like a flag, then you see here we have the top, right, and we have another top. So let's see if it will, from the opening the market, will drop down straight away. Okay, so then you can draw something and see that as a possible flag. Okay, so then you have another level here. Okay, so it depends, then it would be parallel, remember, so you can use the level, something like that. Okay, so you would look at it like that. Okay, so see where it will stop. Okay, if it's something like this, then you can see from here that where it's dropped. Don't forget about this area first. Okay, but we will take in the bottoms of the bodies of these candles, for example. So you can look at this, but first you can see from here might go back down here. So I'm just drawing, you see, that's why I'm saying I don't like too many levels, but that's how you see it visually. Okay, so that's your level by level, that's how you walk with it. So from here, if it will drop down, then it could be some consolidation here, right? You can use that level and this drop down here, and then it could be some consolidation, and you can turn around, go back in here, consolidation. This is where you can take your trades. Okay, then it's going back, consolidation, and then it can go back down, or it can break that and go up here, or it can break down here, consolidation, and break and continue way down as a flag once again. So that's how you see it. Okay, so that's how you use the levels. I'm not drawing all of them because visually you have to have it in your head. Okay, so when you look at the picture, you have to see it already, not drawing yet. because now we need to see where it will continue here, because the trades you had, the entry points I was giving you already here. This was your trade here, and that was your trade here, and now waiting. Okay, so waiting, wouldn't you, no way you can get, well, I mean, I don't know, some like using other indicators, but for me, with my way of trading, there is no way I would get into anywhere here the buy. Okay, because it did not consolidate, it just had straight pullback and correction straight back. Okay, so after this drop. So, well, this is my thoughts for gold. A little bit too much of explanation, but to just trying to show you and give you as many details as I can. So as I'm saying, my technical analysis is pretty much as like giving the signals, maybe you can say it that way, or giving a bit more details of the strategy. So you can see it and use it also afterwards on your own. So now we're going to pound yen. So this is all I draw right now. Looking at it is where we have the new levels, but let's just have a look at what happened this week once again, and then we'll be talking about possibly what to expect. So once again, it was stopped here, right? Again, waiting for consolidation or any patterns which are consolidations, right? So you see it didn't give anything. It was like moving a little bit up down, and so the possible when it started a bit of consolidation was here, right? So this is what you could have taken. A possible first trade would have been around this area. Okay, so this movement's about 100 pips, so that would have been your first trade. Okay, so a good 100 pips movement, like I'm saying, plus minus at least if the 20 something pips from the bottom of the say consolidation area, then it could be 80 something pips profit. Okay, so really good movement. So that could have been the first one look at it. Of course, the first you could have looked at it as shoulder once again, right? When it created base and returned into this area, then you could have looked at it, oh, maybe it's head and shoulders. Yes, you could do so and use the neck area, which you see right here. You would think maybe it will go back up, and you can see it's 50 pips movement. Okay, so in here you could also make some profit if you saw it as head and shoulders. I probably would see it as head and shoulders, and maybe I would go for it. So, and you see plus 10, 20, 30 pips you could have made on that movement. So that's the one. Let's say that was the first movement. That was just the second one, more clear. Okay, for some of you don't know how to use head and shoulders upside down. Well, obviously you see it didn't end up as head and shoulders. It didn't continue. It stopped. As I'm trying to say, it stopped. That's why you need to protect yourself and turned around. But as the beginning of head and shoulders, then you still could have go for it and still would have been in a profitable trade. So that was more clear. Okay, so that's your drop. And then it's turned around and started to have a bit of consolidation around here. Well, this is a little bit of channel, right? Very narrow channel, and you could have another trade which is about 40 pips. You can see another 10-20 pips profit you could have made on that movement. So all of this, you can see why, all happening in the middle, kind of good distance from one level and pretty good distance from another level. As I'm saying, it's when it's between the levels, of course, look if there are good distances. Okay, so that's how you could have worked. I had 1, 2, 3 trades this week on pound yen, and all again profitable trades. So what's now to look at? Okay, what I would look at, well, we're still in the middle, right? So it still didn't go back to this area, and it didn't go down to the next area. That's why we still can play around in here. So now I'm using these two bottoms. You see we have like a little bit of the channel again down, like a little bit flaggish or something. At the same time, we do have this level, so it might look like it's going to be a bit pennant or triangle or something. So that's why with this movement, I will just use that level as a sell order, pending order, okay, and see if it will consolidate around here, and then use that. But for the buy order, I wouldn't be, well, could try, but once again, depends where we will be. Here, you see is how close it is to this level. That level, because it's parallel to this one, I'm using it as a little bit of the channel. You see how close it is? It's about 20 something, 30 pips. So only 10 pips maybe protect yourself could possibly be, because of course I can ignore it and continue the way up, okay, at least to the next level, which is about 100 pips. So, but if it will, maybe it will go up straight and see if it will be stopped by this level, okay? And then turn around and maybe narrowing down and something between those two, then using that level as a buy order and from that level as a sell order, okay? So I'm going to remove this one because I don't really need it now. You know where that one come from, just I showed to you, right, where that level come from, why it's not near there, why it's a little bit high, because it was parallel to these two bottoms. So that's how it is. Let's just go in a bit bigger picture so a little bit more clear. You can see here it's more clearly looking like more bit creation of the pennant, okay? So that's what I'm saying. Even here, then possible go to the next level, so maybe it will go up. That's what I'm saying, I wouldn't play inside it because it's a little bit too narrow, too close to that one. That's why maybe just wait for the market to go through it and then create a bit of the another top and coming back here and then narrowing, and then use those for the buy order, okay? Or if it will go up to this level, then maybe some consolidation around that level, maybe a little bit higher, and you see where it's going to stop. Then use that area once again, like placing the buy pending orders and sell pending orders, because from that level would be enough also to go back down to this area again, okay? So that's how I would work with pound yen. And of course, if it will go back up, then somewhere around this area I would see if it will start to consolidate, okay? And of course, if it will go down, then first would be this next level where it could possibly be starting consolidation or creation or any other patterns. Then of course next level here, and somewhere from middle here to the next level and here. So that's all my thoughts for the main pairs for this coming week. I wish you all guys happy trading, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and I talk to you next week. Bye everyone.